Mahatma Gandhi used to say that I am a Sanatana Hindu. Then why he was shot dead by those who uphold the ideology of RSS? Because Mahatma Gandhi was not just a Sanatana Hindu. He added after that, but I am an Islam also. I am a Buddhist also. And I don't know how many of you remember, at one point of time he said, I am a genuine Bolshevik, that is communist. We sit next to each other, irrespective of religion. That freedom, that is the basic idea of India, that is being targeted by RSS. On the soil of Hindustan, Ofrak, caravans from all over the world kept coming, and so was Hindustan made. Many gullible people are being lured by RSS, claiming themselves to be standing for cultural nationalism. A great contribution of Noorani is the clear, naked, brutal exposure of RSS in their subterfuge. This has to be translated in full form into Hindi, into Malayalam, and all other Indian languages. Along with that, there has to be an abridged version also, bringing out the most explicit aspects of the atrocious and horrific nature of this, what should I say, thousand-headed poisonous creature. നിങ്ങളുടെ അൻപാർന്ന തമിഴ് ഭാഷയിൽ മൊഴി ചൊല്ലാൻ അറിഞ്ഞുകൂടാ. But in Coimbatore, I know there are a lot of Malayalis. Because of them, most of you know Malayalam also, apart from Tamil. And Malayalis know Tamil as well. Anyway, I have been asked to speak in English. English is not my mother tongue. Therefore, I am having the right to injure English language by speaking in it. There is a political reason also. Britishers tortured us through their colonial exploitation, so we can give it back by injuring their language. Therefore, I don't mind exercising this right to briefly make some observations about this particular book which is being translated to you. The title of the book is, as has already been explained, the RSS, a Menace to India. In Malayalam, the translation is Bhishani. That also you may understand. With all the respect to A.G. Noorani, before I complete that sentence, I apologize before you for having not done something which I should have done while entering into this. That is hugging A.G. Noorani and Jayasangh for having brought out this book in English as well as in Tamil. Due to COVID protocol, we cannot physically hug now, but emotionally I hug. Here is a young gentleman, though he gives an impression that he is old. And you know the age of the young man who wrote this book? Lot of energy is required to undertake this huge research. He is 91-year-old young man, still active and kicking. So salute to both of them. Now I was speaking about the title. He is very accurate in using words in this work. But here, I share my doubt. I would have suggested to slightly modify the title. The RSS, a catastrophic menace to India. I was discussing with our friends. Before I proposed to say anything about this book, This book is an intellectual encyclopedic weapon in the fight to defend the idea of India and the great Indian civilization. But the biggest problem before this particular fight, which we are all committed who are seated here, and like Tamil Nadu, as my friend Peter Alphonse ji rightfully said, now both Tamil Nadu and Kerala can be viewed as the advanced outpost in the struggle defending the idea of India. That idea of India, the most simple factor is the right and emotion that each one of us are having to sit next to each other as close friends and fellow citizens of a country. Even when one person next to me or you being seated is belonging to any religion, or like Mahatma Gandhi, Pandit Nehru, or Srinarayana Guru, or even Tandai Periyo, having a different view about religion. Mahatma Gandhi used to say that I am a Sanatana Hindu. Then why he was shot dead by those who uphold the ideology of RSS? Because Mahatma Gandhi was not just a Sanatana Hindu. He added after that, but I am an Islam also. I am a Buddhist also. I belong to Jain community. I am a Sikh. And I don't know how many of you remember, at one point of time he said, I am a genuine Bolshevik. That is communist. It is there, written. I keep referring to Mahatma Gandhi's works, because those who are working in the political field in our country, you have to time and again refer back to Mahatma Ji. Since Mahatma Ji said that I am a Sanatana Hindu, but I am Islam, I am Buddhist, I am Jain, RSS cannot accept that. If you are a Hindu, you should have hatred towards this. When they decide to concentrate, focus their hatred against a particular religious community, they would, for the time being, need not speak much about others, as they have done in the case of CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. But as and when it is required, in their basic text of RSS is bunch of thought. There they have identified the three main enemies, which has been mentioned to, referred to by respected Peter Alphonse. Islam, Christians, communists. So, the idea of India includes, or the basic foundation of the idea of India is coexistence with different ideologies, religious faiths, way of living, way of dressing, way of eating. Isn't it? That is what is being targeted and attacked. So, we sit next to each other, irrespective of religion. That freedom, that is the basic idea of India, that is being targeted by RSS. Friends, when we speak about the idea of India, how the people of each geographic area happen to live there, the identity, There are many studies being made. So fascistic forces always say that this land belongs to those who have this particular ethnic or religious identity. Now many scientific studies, after having examined the gene, the DNA of human beings, what is modern science tells us? We think about some pure race. Some people have an illusion. But every so-called pure race, when being examined, scientifically it has been established that there are elements of some other race in the so-called races, so-called pure races. And how Homo sapiens have their origin in Africa and how they traversed distances, all that is available there. But in this particular book of Sri A.G. Noorani, he has quoted from one of the outstanding poets, Raghupati Sahai Furak Gorakhpuri. This is the name of the poet. It is in Urdu. He has given the English translation, which I can read. I have already, with the help of the translator, that portion has been identified, which how it is there in Tamil. The English translation of this Urdu couplet, it's poetically gripping. On the soil of Hindustan, O Frak, caravans from all over the world kept coming, and so was Hindustan made. This book, over 550 pages in English. There are 25 chapters, introduction and other additions, documents, including the constitution of RSS. They were working without a constitution. But when, after the assassination, the dastardly and cruelest assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, they were compelled to adopt a constitution of their own, RSS constitution. The exposure of Sri A.G. Noorani, the claims of RSS on the one hand, and actually what they are. For example, in the constitution and elsewhere, they claim it's a cultural organization. And when they are asked to explain, or they on their own explain, they speak that we are for cultural nationalism. It's a conflation, bringing together of two lofty ideas. Culture, everybody would love to be described as a cultured person. Nationalism, of course, we know the very, very succinct, clear, simple criticism of nationalism made by none other than Rabindranath Tagore. When the freedom struggle related nationalist feeling was very, very strong in our country today, Rabindranath Tagore said, nationalism beyond a point can be very, very dangerous, he said. What farsightedness Rabindranath Tagore had. Here you find in the working of RSS, they present themselves as a nationalist organization with cultural orientations. What a subterfuge. But if we study the history of fascism, history of Nazism, they are simply copying what Mussolini and Hitler did. What was the name of the party of Adolf Hitler? German Socialist Workers' Party. Hitler stood for socialism. and the rights of workers according to the name. So there is nothing strange in RSS, those who extol and praise Hitler without any shame. In Bunch of Thought, Goldwalker openly say, the German solution is what we should follow. So this particular aspect of how many gullible people are being lured by RSS, claiming themselves to be standing for cultural nationalism. A great contribution of Noorani is the clear, naked, brutal exposure of RSS in their subterfuge. Friends and comrades, due to three reasons, I don't want to make a detailed presentation because I have prepared for this event notes, and comrade GR has seen this and he is looking at me because this text is there, 2 notebooks are there. So he is very, very sympathetic to you, those who happen, comrades, friends who are assembled here. So I don't want to cultivate any enmity with you by making a long speech. There are 3 other reasons why I am going to be very brief now, 1 or 2 points. Those 2 reasons are, one, my friend Jayasanga has to speak, acceptance speech, being the translator. So I should ensure that at least some more comrades stay here. Due to a variety of reasons, people will have to leave. That is one reason. Second reason, I have to travel this entire night to reach Kannur tomorrow morning, because tomorrow is AKG day. AKG had come to Coimbatore many times, you might have. IK Gopalan, 22nd March. And in the morning, I have to pay tribute at 8 o'clock before AKG statue in Kannur. Then I have 4 or 5 programs tomorrow in Kannur. And some of these points which I have prepared for you, I think I can use there rather than using here. That is the second reason. Third reason, I fully agree with my friend Sri Peter Alphonse. He requested the translator Sri Jayasanga to bring out an abridged version in Tamil of this. In fact, this has to be done in the entire country. This has to be translated in full form into Hindi, into Malayalam, into Bengali, and all other Indian languages. Along with that, there has to be an abridged version also, bringing out the most explicit aspects of the atrocious and horrific nature of this, what should I say, thousand-headed poisonous creature. So, Sangha Parivar, they create various organizations in the name of mythological characters. Hanuman Sena, Lakshmana Sena, Rama Sena. And they will go shoot and kill whom they don't like. Kalburgi, it could be Kalburgi today. It could be Gauri Langesh tomorrow. It could be Pansare. It could be Thabolkar. It could be Akhilak. It could be anybody. And it could be some of us also. So you would think, oh, this fellow was saying like that. We never thought that would befall on him. It's possible. Comrade GR mentioned about how anti-constitutional laws are being exploited. UAPA. Earlier there was MISA. And a great cartoonist who is no more, R.K. Lakshman. And a journal edited by R.K. Karijia, that is also no more. Blitz. Some of the cartoons Karijia would reproduce. I still remember during my student days. Unfortunately, the then Congress regime at the center. MISA was being used indiscriminately. And what is the full form of MISA? Maintenance of Internal Security Act. First letters of this long, law's name. Maintenance of Internal Security Act. Now it is not there. Now in that place, UAPA is there. So R.K. Lakshman gave another full form to this MISA. What was that? Some of you remember? This is a quiz. R.K. Lakshman's expansion of MISA. Those who say this, I will buy a Tamil copy of this book and present. I don't give more time because somebody, most inhuman and savage act. That is the full form R.K. Lakshman gave. Most inhuman and savage act. So what expansion you would give to Modi's UAPA? Utterly authoritarian and pernicious act. With all respect to R.K. Lakshman, taking, cue from him. So one day in Trichure, I was handing over on behalf of the judging committee an award in the name of a great Marxist scholar and literary critic, Professor V. Aravindasan of Kerala. He is no more in his name. To whom I was presenting this? Anand Steltunde, one of the brightest public intellectuals of our country, who is invited to foreign universities, IITs, IIMs to give lectures. He is a scholar. Also related to B.R. Ambedkar. That is another matter. That is not very relevant. On the stage, Anand Steltunde told me, dear friend, you have invited me, giving this award with a cash prize and all that. But I don't know how long I would be able to meet people like you. Now he is languishing in a jail on concocted evidence. Now the state structure is not only authoritarian, it is terroristic. With knowing the meaning of what I am saying the central government is now doing terrorist acts. They manipulate evidence with gadgets like Israeli Pegasus and put in my smartphone and your smartphone, then confiscate it, then say, incriminating evidence, you are arrested under UAPA. Then like Father Stan Swami, you will languish in jail and you will get killed through this state terroristic activities. We are living in such a situation, and how RSS is able to do, they are not in the front, they are behind. They say, we are nowhere in the power structure. But today in our country, an RSS man is the President of India. An RSS man is the Prime Minister of India. An RSS man is the Vice President of India, Speaker of India, and too many Home Minister, Defense Minister, what not. But more dangerous is, they have a private army and they are penetrating into the standing state army, navy and air force. This is an absolutely extraordinary and catastrophic situation existing in our country today. Though I said that Sri Noorani defined the situation as a menace, that is in the title, but you go into the book, he has explained how this is catastrophic also. I conclude my brief observations by making a reference to an event happened in Haridwar, North India, on I think 17th, 18th and 19th of December. Dharma Samsthan. Dharma Samsthan means religious parliament. 3-day session. There, those who rub shoulders with the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, those who have access to Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, Nadda, other tall leaders of RSS and BJP, they are all presenting themselves as yogis, and if it is a she, yogini. Yogis and yoginis in this Haridwar session of religious parliament, they were speaking many things, but in all those speeches of speaker after speaker, there was one common theme, that is open, naked call, exhortation for the extermination of a particular religious community. Openly. I don't have to say what is the religious community. Those who are excluded from citizenship rights in Citizenship Amendment Act. This is openly happening. And nobody condemns it. Prime Minister did not condemn this. Home Minister did not say anything about this. UP Chief Minister don't say anything about this. Because this call is being given on the basis of this ideological underpinning of RSS, which is being explained in A.G. Nurani's work. We have to view this in the context of a voluntary organization working in the world. Its name is Genocide Watch. What do you say in Tamil for genocide?
Ethnic
cleansing. Removal of a targeted group. This voluntary organization is headed by Dr. Gregory H. Stanton. Gregory Stanton and all that difficult to pronounce and even understand. He has been a professor in many universities in United States. He has been following being a political scientist who studies ethnic problems. He assists United Nations also. Then he resigned and started this voluntary organization. After having followed this call in December from Haridwar, he had come out with his open, clear-cut understanding that Indian society is moving towards a genocide. On the basis of very concrete study, they have developed certain sociological and political assessment of societies, and this Genocide Watch first identified 8 symptoms, 8 stages and its symptoms when a society is moving towards a genocide. And mind you, this group predicted the possibility of a genocide in Rwanda, an African country. They not just predict, they go and talk to people. People, according to them, would be helpful in stopping the genocide. They did do that in the case of Rwanda. But they have also revealed later that we never knew that we are talking to some people thinking that they will help to stop this genocide. Actually, they were working for this genocide. That we came to know only later. So this is their record, which would send a shiver down our spine, because some of their predictions had turned out to be true. Now they are saying, after having studied Indian society and the working of various forces, including the working of RSS, mass lynching, and finally the exhortation coming from the Haridwar session of so-called religious parliament. Gregory Stanton and their team, they feel that India is moving towards a genocide. The 10 stages, I would just say, there will be a classification. And we know, they and us. That classification has already been done. Symbolization, how they identify the other, by religion, by the dress. Even those who have a beard, it is not safe in Delhi. Though Golwalkar had a beard, incidentally. Then discrimination, we know how it is. Dehumanization is very interesting. He says, those who they want to exterminate, these forces will compare them with some insects. You remember when genocide had taken place in Gujarat in 2002, under Narendra Modi as the chief minister there, when some people raised this issue of many people having been exterminated, Modi and his people said, when in a fast road some vehicles move, some puppies will get killed. Who cares for that? This is dehumanization working in our country. Then organization, polarization, concrete preparation, marking the houses as happened in Germany. Then extermination and denial of their responsibility. So each stages are taking place in our country. Now what we need to do, we have all this information before us. We need to do many things. On this matter of exposing, fighting and isolating these merchants of hate and merchants of death, on that matter we have to develop a most broad platform of struggle, of resistance. That is what we need to do. Few days ago, a great fighter, intellectual fighter, Professor Ijaz Ahmad died on 9th of March. I understand the next issue of Frontline covers the contributions of Ijaz Ahmad in a comprehensive manner. Why he is relevant here? He has made a formulation about RSS. It is very, very important for you and me. He said, RSS represents the poisonous, anti-social, most regressive ideology. But they are using the most modern organizational technological devices. They are the most advanced in deploying their forces. Then Professor Ijaz, who though not a CPIM member, he was working and contributing more than any CPIM member used to do. This is my tribute to him. He said, when RSS with the most regressive, reactionary and poisonous ideology are organizationally most modern, scientific and advanced, those who are holding the most advanced ideology, they are found wanting in making use of progressive, proactive, organizational working methods, as well as using the modern scientific technology and gadgets in advancing this ideology. Therefore, we need not only study this book, we need to equip ourselves in the ideological and, if needed, physical fight to defend the idea of India. Thank you very much.